Welcome to this Planning Commission meeting, Tuesday, March 17th, for the city of Atascadero. Happy St. Patrick's Day to those of us wearing green. We will go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call, please. Whoa, now I'm loud.
Commissioner Farrell? Commissioner Jones?
Present.
Commissioner Panaccio?
Here.
Vice Chairperson Anderson?
Here.
Chairperson Keen?
Here.
5 present, 2 absent.
Okay. If you're attending in person or listening to the commission meeting tonight, welcome. We will go ahead and open public comment. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the commission on any matter not on this agenda and over which the commission has jurisdiction. There's no one in the gallery tonight, so I'll go ahead and close public comment. We will move on to the consent calendar, and I'll reopen public comment. Seeing as there's still no people in the gallery, I will close public comment on the consent calendar. Commission, they can't comment online. No, we closed that. Any committee members wishing to ask any questions about or pull an item from the consent calendar? No? Okay. Can we have a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Roll call, please.
Sorry, who was second?
Farrell.
Thank you. Commissioner Jones? Commissioner Farrell?
Aye.
Commissioner Panaccio?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Anderson?
Yes.
Chairperson Keen?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, we will move on to Planning Commission business. Tonight, we are going to choose a new chair and vice chair. So we will have to nominate someone and get them a second. Anyone want to nominate a chair?
I would like to nominate Commissioner Anderson for chair.
And okay.
I will second that nomination for Commissioner Anderson for chair.
And I will nominate Commissioner Panaccio for vice chair.
I'll go ahead and second that nomination for vice chair.
And then y'all have to accept the nominations. You have to say, yes, I'll do it.
Yes, I accept.
I'll accept that nomination. Thank you very much.
Okay, so can we get a vote on those? Do we do those separately?
Yeah, we'll do them separately. So we'll do chair first, vice chair next.
Okay, so electing Chairperson Anderson is what we're passing, right? Okay. Commissioner Panaccio?
Yes.
Commissioner Farrell?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Anderson?
Yes.
Chairperson Keen?
Yes.
Motion passes.
I'd like to vote too.
I'm sorry. Commissioner Jones.
No,
Oh,
okay, yes. It's an I vote for the.
thank you. Sorry about that. Made a scribble on your name.
Punishment for not wearing green.
The only one that did wear green.
Oh.
Yeah.
I redact that statement.
Okay, and
Moving
for vice
On to
chair.
Vice Chair. So this is for Commissioner Panaccio, correct?
Yes.
To be okay. Chairperson Keen?
Yes.
Now Chairperson Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Farrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Panaccio?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And now we play musical chairs. You get to come sit over here, yeah. And you get this spot.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the nomination, the acceptance, and the opportunity to serve. as chair. I've got some big shoes to fill. Tori's been a great job for the last 2 years, and we really appreciate her. Thank you for your service. Alrighty. Okay, and congratulations on your acceptance.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for the nomination. Appreciate it.
Yes, fantastic. Okay. So where are we at here? Give me just a second to get up to date on this. Where were we? We're finished public comment, presentation. You had the opportunity.
Staff
to look at
report.
this one. I'm gonna go on this one. This one always helps me better. There we go. Okay. Business and. Okay, we're gonna go to community development staff reports. And who are we giving that?
Yeah, so tonight we're presenting our annual general plan and housing update that we send to the state every year, and Sam Mountain is going to give the presentation.
All right, fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, good to see all of you again. As Kelly mentioned, my name is Sam Mountain. I'm an assistant planner in the Community Development Department, and I am here to give our annual general plan and housing element report. Just for a little bit of background, this is a report that state law requires that we do every year. It's actually technically 2 separate reports, but it's kind of a 2 birds, 1 stone situation. HCD, which is the state's Department of Housing and Community Development, requires that we send them essentially a very big spreadsheet with all of our housing permitting data for the year, alongside some progress basically on programs that are in the city's general plan. In addition, LCI, formerly OPR, a lot of acronyms, but that's the Governor's Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation, requires that we send them essentially a report similar to the former of progress on our general plan goals and policies. So this is just a little bit of an update for all of you, so you can see what's going on and see essentially what is being sent to the state on behalf of the city. So again, just a little bit of background there. Like I mentioned, this is for housing progress and specifically for RHNA, which is short for the Regional Housing Needs Allocation. That is essentially a number of housing units that are required to be built in certain regions. That is sent down to the SLOCOG, or San Luis Obispo Council of Governments. And through a deliberation process, SLOCOG essentially gives each city within its region a certain number of housing units at different affordability levels that the state essentially wants us to set as goals to be built over the planning period. So far, as you can see on this table here, we are making pretty good progress. We have exceeded our RHNA goals about 3 years early by 1 unit for our low-income housing development goals, by 56 units for moderate income, and we are well on our way for market rate. A little bit of an overview for 2025. In general, the complexity of projects has increased. We're seeing quite a bit more mixed use and larger scale multifamily being applied for and developed in the city, a bit fewer kind of smaller scale projects. But on the other hand, we are seeing fewer entitlements and more staff level review. So fewer, for example, conditional use permits or large scale zone changes. And a lot of that is due to recent state laws, as well as recent city initiatives like our objective design standards, hillside grading guidelines, and watercourse adjacent development standards that make it so that we essentially set clear objective goals for development applicants to meet in order for their projects to be reviewed solely at the staff level rather than having to go through, for example, design review committee, planning commission, or city council. As I mentioned in the last slide, we are on track for our RHNA goals for low and moderate income units, and have actually exceeded them, and are also on track for market rate. Very low income is a little bit of a different story, in large part due to the fact that those types of projects require pretty specialized and various funding and grant sources for the applicants. The city doesn't build housing. The state is, at least at this point, pretty well aware of that. And so there is no punishment for not meeting that very low guideline for RHNA. But in order to be able to get there, really what the applicants need, which in large part would be applicants like Haslo, for example, are grant sources. And those are very difficult to get in a city that doesn't have a disadvantaged community status. That said, we are planning for more units in the general plan update for the next RENA cycle. Essentially, once we get to 2028 and there's kind of a new cycle of RENA numbers that are released and goals for the city to meet, we are updating our general plan through the general plan update process in lockstep to be able to accommodate more units being built in the city and likely kind of higher goals for the number of units to be built from the state kind of passing down to the city. And you can see this little chart on the bottom here. We are about 70% of the way through the RENA cycle or the planning cycle. And we have built about 74% of the total housing units. And so we are well on track. So just a quick review of some of the bigger projects that are in the pipeline right now. In terms of residential and mixed use, Emerald Ridge over on El Camino Real, it's kind of across from Fence Factory. That was originally built out quite a while ago under its first phase, and we're now seeing the second phase being built. We currently have 72 units that are under construction there. Within Del Rio Marketplace, there is 114,000 square feet of commercial space, as well as 40 apartment units that are currently under construction. Dove Creek on the corner of Santa Barbara Road and El Camino Real includes a 20-room hotel, around 15,000 square feet of commercial tenant space, and 71 condominium units that are under construction, or rather soon to be under construction. Similarly, Barrel Creek is currently still in planning phases, but is planned to have 60 units and a little over 53,000 square feet of commercial space. We also have Del Rio Ridge, which is a pretty notable affordable housing project here in the city that is slated to have 41 extremely low, very low, and low income units, and that'll help us kind of get closer to that goal for the very low income. And then in addition to that, Echo is currently constructing 30 additional beds, kind of in lockstep with Planning Commission approval within the past couple of years of an expanded meal program and family center as an addition to their existing building. There are also some pretty notable commercial projects in the pipeline. We have Beach and Biscuits that is under construction, kind of kitty corner from the Carlton over in the former Flum's gas station. That is going to be, as I understand it, pretty good breakfast food. So looking forward to that. We also have Garden City Market, and that is on the corner of El Camino Real and East Mall. That has around 5,000 square feet of vendor spaces, and that's in a former Century 21 building. And so through that, we're seeing kind of a change from a use that doesn't generate a lot of spontaneous foot traffic to one where people can look inside of the window, say, oh, that looks cool, or that looks tasty, and be able to walk in, kind of energize downtown around Sunken Gardens a little bit. In addition, we have the Winter's Garage renovation. That is the historic garage building that's kind of next to Brew on El Camino Real that's been under construction for a bit, but they have completed the roof and most of the work on the shell. Right now, they're doing tenant improvements for, I believe, a pho restaurant and a tea house. And then there are going to be, I believe, 2 additional tenant spaces that are kind of going to get filled with ideally restaurants or retail as well. Del Rio Ranch was recently approved, not yet under construction, and I don't believe we've received building permit applications quite yet, but that's planned for over 9 acres of event, retail, and restaurant space, as well as some glamping areas, RV areas, and short-term rentals, kind of meant to be a little bit of a destination for tourism in the city. And then the Edge as well is a mixed-use development that's looking at around 20,000 square feet of commercial space. The Edge is on El Camino, I believe. Kelly, do you have?
It's kind of just south of the Mission Oaks Plaza and the new buildings that are going up.
And a few highlights kind of at the city level here for 2025. We in planning have spent a very good chunk of the year focused on the draft 2045 general plan, or year is probably an understatement there, but that's now published for public review. Really proud of the work that's happened so far. In addition, as I mentioned earlier, we have the ECHO amendments for a family wing and expanded meal program. We've again updated our ADU ordinance, kind of trying to keep up with state law changing with ADUs for consistency with some of the state's streamlining standards for those. And bolded and underlined, very proud of this. We exceeded our RENA goals, as I mentioned, for low and moderate income units 3 years early. So we're about 70% of the way through the cycle and have already exceeded those goals. In terms of building and construction permits that have been issued this year, it has been a little bit of a slowdown from prior years just due to financing constraints, cost of materials, cost of labor going up, unfortunately. But we do have a total of 1,676 construction permits that were issued in 2025 and 88 permits in total that were issued for new homes in the city. And with that, I will go ahead and open it up to any questions or discussion among the commission.
I'm dazzled. Thank you. You have any questions? Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple. Going back to slide 3, please. On this arc of progress here, it looks very favorable. When is this deadline by? Is it by the end of 2027 or 28? I heard 28 offered, but I didn't know if that was a January 1 reset or how that was tracking.
Yeah, it tracks through the end of 2028.
Oh, the end of 2020.
Yeah, there's sometimes a little overlap when we prepare our housing elements
Mhm.
between the adoption date and the end of the RENA cycle, and they either get pushed forward as units or they get held back as units.
And that leads to my next question. I think it was on slide 4, but when do we get the credit for them? Is it occupancy or is it when the entitlement and the permit is issued?
Final occupancy.
Final occupancy. Okay. And then the last one, on slide 6, I was just curious. 1676 is still a good permit number, but we're only talking about 88 for new residences, despite that being a hard or a strong goal of the council and the city. Are some of these other ones for ADUs or other, where we're talking about maybe 150 to 200 units? And what's the garden variety of the other bulk of the permits, if you would?
Sure. Yeah, so that 88 includes single family, ADU, multifamily. That's just all of the essentially permits for new residences in the city. The rest of those can be anything from commercial tenant improvements to re-roofs to, anything. It's essentially all of our permit activity for the year.
And so that's aggregate for 25. We only had 88 permits for.
That is correct. Yeah, that's the total for new housing units. It is, I put up the table here. It is a little bit of a decrease from previous years, doing better than 22, but unfortunately it is still lower than 23 or 24.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was looking at the program parts at the bottom, and I just had some questions as to like how they work in RENA. So the first one was the water and sewer service providers. And so that talks about how we are working to get water and sewer to new developments, but our wastewater building thing, oh my God, my brain, is like at capacity. So if we need to build more units to use this facility that is already at capacity, is there a way for the state to help do that? I know it's so naive and hopeful.
We use that sentence all the time when we ask the state for money.
Yeah.
I don't know. Our regional partners are aware of our conundrum. There are other cities in similar situations, not even with sewer, but with other levels of infrastructure. We constantly ask the state for assistance in meeting some of those basic needs in order to accommodate the growth that they are asking us to do. We have started the process for our wastewater treatment plant upgrade. We still don't know how we're going to fund it yet. So
Right.
we are hoping to find some funding sources. But we are in the process of determining exactly what that upgrade will look like, how flexible it will be for the future versus the expenditure, and all of those very fun items. So no, the state has not committed any funding to that. We are hopeful that there will be some funding somewhere.
And so how does that work when approving new projects that will need wastewater, sewer, water, all that stuff? Like, is there a point where we can be like, sorry, we can't approve anything because we just can't facilitate any more capacity at all?
There definitely can be. So our new general plan, if we keep on track with our wastewater treatment plant update, there's still the question of some of the aging infrastructure that is actually in the ground and getting waste from the units and the commercial space to the wastewater treatment plant. So there's not just the whole new wastewater treatment plant that needs to be upgraded. There's a lot of infrastructure in the roads. And there are certain areas that are at higher capacity or have more aged infrastructure than the rest of them. So our new general plan actually has a policy in it that was done through the analysis for the EIR, where we will be requiring sort of an intent to serve or a will serve letter for new development so that our Public Works Department can analyze each development that comes in and ensure that we have capacity to move forward.
And then when we're building new projects around other places in Atascadero where there is not wastewater service, wastewater service, are we going to try to include a plan to get those properties on there as well?
No. The short answer is no. We don't have a lot of ability to expand our wastewater system. There are a few designated areas that are called out in our LAMP that are currently through the Regional Water Quality Control Board areas of higher concern for septic failure or water quality type situations. And so we do always kind of have on our mind that we do need to extend to some of those areas. There's actually a state grant funding program for sort of lower income neighborhoods to be able to extend sewer service. And we do believe that one of those neighborhoods that was identified in our LAMP might qualify. And so we are working towards that. But we do not have the funds to necessarily extend into those areas. If grant funding became available, we would, but we do not have plans to sewer the entire city ever.
Because the north side of town has a lot of land, a lot of flat land that could be developed into more density, but because it's all on septic tanks, it's not, I mean, we just can't do it right now.
Yeah, and we will not do that into the future. We still have a lot of capacity within our urban core where there is sewer services that we can add additional density to, and we will not likely need to push out into those areas.
Okay, thank you. I do love a good wastewater discussion. Sorry, I have more questions. Okay. Oh, you have more wastewater discussion? Go for it. I'm going to move on to another topic, so go for it.
So my question regarding the wastewater, to piggyback, is based on the average number of approvals we've gotten over the last 5 or 10 years, how many more years do we have out before we reach capacity with the wastewater? I imagine a project like that takes with funding, planning, design, construction, maybe 10 years, 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I'm not in the Public Works Department. So I might say some things that are a little bit wrong, but I'm going to try really hard and I'll just put little asterisks there. I believe that our plan for our new plant is about 5 years out. It was kind of a 7-year process and we've done a lot of the pre-planning and we're going into programming mode right now so that we can get a design and sort of bid that out and then start construction. So I believe we're about 5 years out. It's interesting with the system that we have now being sort of more of a pond system. We are definitely at and nearing capacity, but there's a lot of flexibility built into a pond system that you don't always get with more of a closed plant type system. And so, because we have to accommodate for rain and some years we don't get enough rain and there's a little bit of flexibility. So we're not at the point where we are saying we can't construct anything at this point in time. Some of our deficiencies actually lean more towards the aging infrastructure than they do the plant at this time. So we believe that the stars will align and we'll get some funding and we'll build our new plant and then we'll get some funding to do some of the underground infrastructure and we'll be able to keep moving forward. But we are putting those checks and balances in place to ensure that we don't overload our system.
Great, thank you.
Another element of that as well is that a not insignificant number of units that are being built here are ADUs or just new single family that are out on the west side that are reliant on septic systems in the first place. So naturally, we always have that hope in our planning as well for wastewater expansion. But we also have plenty of development happening in the city that doesn't increase the load on our wastewater system at all.
Thank you. Okay, so another one was housing rehabilitation and preservation. what does that mean? Like, are we rehabbing houses that are falling apart? Are we rehabbing units that are already built? Like what, and this is program 4A, because it sounds like if you've got a deteriorating housing, which means somebody's in it and it needs to be rehabilitated, that's what this program speaks to. But I'm wondering about inhabitable units that need to be torn down and something new needs to be built there. Is that a thing that this is talking about?
So it can, the state in general doesn't like to lose any housing units, and we try and track that. A lot of the rehabilitation that we see useful to this are nonprofit organizations rehabilitating or preserving housing that might fall out of a deed restriction or something like that. So we've had some nonprofits come in and rehabilitate housing for low-income veterans, for example, things of that nature. I think Haslo or Peoples have purchased projects that were previously deed restricted and not owned by a nonprofit. The deed restriction was going to expire. And so they purchased projects in order to keep that low-income housing stock available.
Okay. And then I think this is my last one. Yes. Condominium conversion. It talks about in chapter 12 of the zoning regulations, which I did go look at. And it talks about converting something into condominiums. My first thought was like an old warehouse into condos. But we don't really have any big warehouses that kind of conversion would happen. So is there other kinds of condominium conversion, and what does that look like? And do we have any projects like that in the area? Like, is that a thing that we have?
Yeah, so we haven't seen many of these. The state has a lot of regulations about converting existing apartment units into condominiums, and that's one of the things that they like to make sure that we maintain regulations for. There's a lot about displaced persons in that condominium conversion ordinance and first right of refusal and things of that nature. So we don't see a lot of them. It's an arduous process for somebody to go through. Interestingly, maybe not a lot, but quite a few of our apartment projects are already condos, and the owner of those chose not to sell them individually. And so they retain the right to do that. And a lot of people will do that up front because condominium conversions after somebody has moved in is very, very, very difficult. We don't see a lot of commercial buildings being converted into residences in our atmosphere and our economic condition that we have. That's not really something that we do here. Larger cities are kind of doing that when they need more housing and they're a little bit over commercialed. So we don't see a lot of condominium conversions, but we have our full chapter in our zoning ordinance that shows that we will comply with state law should one come in.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? No? All right. Well, that was fantastic. Are there any other comments you'd like to make? No, you covered everything. Go ahead.
We will want to open up for public comment, even though there doesn't appear to be anyone available for that, but we do want to check that box.
Absolutely. Okay, at this time, we'd like to open up the floor to public comment. Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close public comment. Thank you. And any other comments or reports?
I would just like to say I appreciate the size of the chart on page 15.
You're quite welcome. We do really like those magnifying glasses, and we want to promote those in the city.
That's why I do it digital. I can just stretch it.
They call that the easy print option. They're like, just in case you need to bring this to planning commission or city council, this one's really easy and readable. And then you print it out and it's like, I don't really think that it is, but.
Is it like a negative font type? I mean, yeah, I didn't bring my reading glasses tonight, so I wasn't expecting to be in this chair. I was like, everything will be on the screen. I'll be fine. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I have-
Oh, we have the director's report.
Yeah, I
All right.
have just a couple things to mention. I don't know that I have anything insanely exciting. I think Chick-fil-A is moving forward to council at the next meeting, so that will be very exciting. At the last council meeting, we dove into zoning regulations for our mixed-use zoning districts that are proposed. We continued the discussion on mixed-use zone 3 to the next council meeting because there were some conflicts of interest and we had a lack of quorum. So that discussion will be continued. It was a very fabulous and healthy discussion that went till almost 10 o'clock at night. But it covered a lot of our zoning regulations and the council direction for some of our new zoning districts. So if you have a chance to go back and watch that or look at some of the highlights, that would be very informative for when you guys see the zoning ordinance before you. We have not yet quite posted our EIR for public review for the general plan. That should be happening in the next few weeks. And then we'll start the public comment period for that. It is pushing our timeline out a little bit for adoption of the general plan and zoning ordinance, which in doing so, we are hoping to bring some chunks of that zoning ordinance to you so that you don't have all 90,000 pages at once to go through. And so we will be scheduling some meetings where we go through this similar topics that we went through at council. So that everybody can be up to speed and knowledgeable about what we're adopting when we come forward with the comprehensive code update. And then those council meetings that I think we've relayed to you before that were happening for the zoning code, some of those dates might shift a little, although some of them are probably the same. We're just going to take a little bit longer to go through some of the material. So still keep up to date on that because it's very good conversation and dialogue to understand for the zoning code update and helpful in having the public understand if they come up to you with questions, what's going on.
Mr. Chair, I have one question.
Any questions or comments on the director's report? Go ahead.
When the general plan update was here and our planning director was here, there was a commitment to outreach and communications plan, and I don't know that we've seen that since.
Time's up.
Hostile question. Not that whole public engagement strategy.
Reclaiming my
If
time.
we can just see that as part of the staff update at our next regularly scheduled meeting, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think when we, now I'm loud. When we bring back some of those items, we'll bring that back, or we'll bring it back at the next planning commission meeting during director's report. We are continuing our Coffee with a Planner series. That's every third Thursday, and we alternate between Amsterdam and Malibu Brew so that we can be around the park. Hopefully, if somebody drives by and they don't know where we're at, they see us and they come say hi. We will be having some discussions about the general plan and zoning ordinance as part of those. We were also asked by the council to specifically notify people if their parcels are specifically being discussed and have a potential option associated with them. So we will be notifying them directly. And then as we get into the discussion about uses, there's also some conversations about how to let people know if they might be becoming a non-conforming use in any of the new zoning. So we are expanding that public sort of notification and outreach effort to ensure that people truly understand what is going on with their properties.
Thank you.
And what time is that at Coffee with a Planner? What time?
It starts at 9.
9
Starts at
PM.
9 a.m.
9 PM, okay.
No, that's beer with a planner.
Any further questions, discussion? No? All right. Well, with that, I will adjourn this meeting, and we will be meeting again on, when's our next meeting? What was our next meeting? First and third Tuesday? What date is that? I just want to make sure. I don't want to announce it if
Our next regularly scheduled is April 7th,
April 7th.
Are there any
Yeah, we
items
have-
scheduled at this point?
5th Tuesday in there. Do
we
we
have
have
that
that scheduled for April?
Didn't-
I don't recall. There might not be, but we do have an extra Tuesday in there, so something might pop up. So we should count on it and we'll let you know if we cancel.
Okay, next scheduled meeting will be noticed. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll adjourn.